And we believe at the People's Institute, this training, it can be very helpful, whatever institution that you're part of, whether it's the health system, housing system, transportation, working with youth, working in INS. We believe this training will help to give you an analysis beyond needs analysis, beyond a victim analysis. It will get folks to understand the power arrangement. This training will also help people understand why we've had difficulty in bringing our communities together. Because of years of oppression, years of racism, racism has created inequity, but all injustice, but it also has done a dehumanizing thing to our community, where we turn on each other. We think the training will help you to collectivize your base. It will make people be respectful of each other and listen to each other. We find it has been a major thing. When people come together in a room, because of all the manifestations of the oppression, we don't listen to each other, we don't work together. But this training has developed a process to make us respect and listen to each other and to move more effectively in whatever the obstacles are that are stopping us to be full human beings and to achieve whatever concerns, whatever obstacles in our way. We think the training is a must. We think that everybody needs to have this training because we've seen the results of it, and we know that it will bring a level of integrity to the work that will just make people amazed at it. And it's not like it's a whole new phenomenon. It's just been taken. It takes people years of experience in this workshop, and we take this experience and put it in chronological order where people begin to say, I see what you're talking about. That's what's so exciting about the training. We think everybody should have it. We don't care what organization you're with, what social justice group is, what kind of church group it is, because everybody wants to do ministry, wants to do evangelism, wants to do outreach work, wants to do social justice work, wants to do international work, wants to do missionary work, but without having an anti-racist analysis, there's a higher probability with all the good work that we all are trying to do, we will add to people's oppression if we don't understand how race plays into it. And what you'll be doing, you'll be compounding the work that you're trying to alleviate if you don't deal with race. And then it becomes a contradiction, if you don't deal with race. And you can avoid it for years and years because it makes people uncomfortable to talk about it. But eventually we've seen you have to go through a whole process, but eventually you're going to come back to dealing with it because all the other things are stop gaps. It's a temporary kind of a thing. It's like we get, people get lapse, but eventually you got to come back to reality of it, And once you do it, it'll perpetuate itself, It's the fear minimized, the concerns, the intimidation, all these things will get minimized once you get into it right now. It becomes, like we say, culture is a way of life. This will become a way of life. It won't be anything threatening to anybody. But we've got to step up to the plate, and we got to take what we call strategic risk. You can't just keep playing with it. You got to take not foolish risk, but strategic risk. And when that happens, people you're working with will feel your humanity. But right now, when you work with community, they really don't know how real you really are. You never know if somebody really with you when you don't talk about race. So it's in our best interest to be upfront, be honest, be strategic, and talk about the real issues and quit going around it to try to avoid it. If you really want to bring a community together and make people know that they got each other's back, and not question whether I do have a friendship or relationship, you got to talk about race because people can feel humanity. They can't just feel issues, they can feel humanity. So that's what we would encourage people to do who's interested in doing this training. We know it's making a difference. You'll see a difference in your work. I mean, and not only in your work, it makes a difference in your family. Right now, we've seen it bringing families together when it can bring the race question home because it's there all the time in your family, when you walk in your neighborhood, when you worry about crime, you worry about jobs. We don't talk about it. Let's be talking about it very quietly. But until we have an honest discussion. But the key about the training, it gives you a context to have that discussion. Because having a discussion about racism all it does is get emotional because we're talking inside of a box. So if you want to have a creative discussion, you have a context to work from. And understanding racism and having a working definition, because the training gives you a common language, a common understanding. You might have difference of opinion, but you got common language what you're talking about. And we have nothing but hope. We bring hope to this process. We encourage you to take that step forward.